Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Rez. In this video, I'm going to be going over the Hungary Adept. If you don't know, this is the weapon that actually is dropping from Grandmaster Nightfalls this week, and it has potential to be literally probably the best scout rifle in the game once these do eventually get a buff. So I'm going to be going over a PvE and a PvP role, and I hope this video can help you all understand what you might want to get on your Hungary if you farm for it this week. So if you do enjoy and find this video helpful, consider subscribing and dropping a like. It really helps me out and our community grow by getting these videos out there for everyone to see, and I truly appreciate it. All right, so starting off, we're actually going to be talking about PvE, and since this is going to be just a primary kinetic weapon, you're going to probably be running a mod spec on it for your mod just to kill some trash ads. If you want to run something like a Adept big one spec, you can, but if you're using this for a boss, you might get yelled at by your teammates. So honestly, we just keep minor spec on it. Then for the mass work, stability doesn't matter too much on scout, nor does range really. Reload can be good, but I honestly would just go with handling, just to get a nice filling scout rifle, make it super snappy. You have 64 handling. And then for barrels over here, it doesn't matter again too much. You know, if you want to take something like fluted barrel, which is probably what I would go with to get additional 14 handling, you can get up to like 78 handling on this thing, which is actually really good, because again, like I said, range stability doesn't matter too much, and you're not going to even worry about reload speed with the perks we're going to be taking, so handling is probably going to be your best option. Then over here in the rounds, again, this is kind of just up to you, but taking something like tactical mag to get a bullet increase from reload speed and stability, just overall give you a nice little buff in everything you can. Something like flare magwell, also not that bad to give you some reload speed. I mean, again, steady rounds isn't that good. Alloy magazine isn't going to be that good. Acros, like, again, range stability doesn't matter too much on this, especially for PvE. So honestly, I would just go with something like tac mag, because that is just probably going to be overall your best option. Now, there are going to be two roles I'm going to go over for this, because that is simply because there's going to be a in-game hard mode thing like Grandmasters, maybe Master of All, or just potentially any other hard content that we get in the game, and there's going to be just a normal go-to weapon. So in the first column, we have assistance, moving target, rapid hit, heating up, bottomless grief, and surplus. For PvE, obviously things like rapid hit and subsistence are the most appealing. So, but first, I'm just going to go over kind of the overall just generic weapon that most people will probably want to use. And I'm going to go with subsistence. What subsistence does is when you get a kill, you're going to refill some of the magazine. And it's also got buffed to not actually take your reserves away. So this is going to be really good. You can just slay down a bunch of ads. Now, in the next column, we have Adrenaline Junkie, Box Breathing, Explosive Payload, Wall Spring, One for All, and Firefly. One for All can be pretty good for a damage buff. Explosive payloads also really good, you know, for obviously giving you a little bit more damage. Plus, you don't have to worry about hitting headshots as much. Wall Spring also good for getting your abilities back. Adrenaline Junkie, not that amazing. Box Breathing, not that amazing. But then Firefly is going to be 100% the option I would go for. Again, this is just for doing your normal strikes, any just lower tier content. Firefly can proc things like subsistence and just have an infinite magazine with this. With tac mag, you're getting a 17 round mag, and you're going to be able to just cause explosions everywhere, never have to reload with this thing. And I'm actually super excited to get this roll, and if they ever do buff scout rifles, which I'm pretty sure they already said they're talking about doing, this thing is going to be a beast for lower tier content in the game. Now, for Grandmasters or any other harder content, this is also going to be one of your best, especially if there's something like anti-barrier scout or just any, honestly, champion mod for scout rifles in the current season. Something like rapid hit and explosive payload is going to be really good, or even one for all could be also really good, but explosive payload is probably going to be the best. For some reason, explosive payload just stuns stuff a lot easier on champions compared to not having it, and you still get that slight damage bonus increase. And the rapid hit is when you get crits, you're going to get more reload speed and stability. So again, that's why I was talking about you really don't need reload speed, because at foul stacks this thing, you're going to be instantly reloading the gun. It's really good, and you're going to be just be doing constant damage on them with explosive payload going over and over again. Really good for some of the champions, really good for killing targets a long ways away. This is 100% going to be the best PvE scout rifle in the game after they buff them. It already is probably the best PvE scout rifle in the game without a buff, and it's what you see most people running due to the fact that you can get something like rapid explosive payload and subsistence and Firefly. Really good in both forms of PvE content. But now if we take a look at PvP, you know, scout rifles are not the greatest in PvP. I'm going to say probably Adept Icarus grip is going to be your best option. You get a little bit of range increase, plus you get that, you know, obviously inner accuracy, which is good. You don't really need to go for range on a scout rifle. Again, we're kind of in a scenario like, you know, whichever mod you kind of want to go for. Stability does matter a little bit more in PvP, especially if you are a controller player. So I'm going to, for the PvP role specifically, I'm going to go with stability just to see what we can do with this. Now, if you don't want to run stability, again, kind of take something else. It's just whatever you want to run. But in the barrels, again, kind of the same, whatever you want to run. Taking something like chamber compensator will give you a little bit more stability and recoil direction, which is nice. And that is 100% what I'm going to go with, because you want this to be super stable in a crucible scenario, even at longer distances, so you can just melt people with it. Now, for that reason, I'm also going to be taking steady rounds, which is also really good if you're trying to get that huge stability bump. And I honestly think if you want to take something like Adept stability, if you're just going to be a laning Larry and sitting in the back of a scout rifle, you can have 100 stability on this thing, which is kind of insane. And honestly, you know, we're going to keep Adept stability on it. We're just going to make this a stability king for PvP. And if this is going to be sitting in very far back of the map, just aim it out sight, your gun's not going to move. You're going to be hitting every single target max damage, because it's a scout rifle. And in this column, you can take something like Heated Up. It's going to give you more accuracy stability when you get a kill, but you don't really need that stability anymore. Things like Rapid Hit, you don't really need that stability anymore either. Surplus is okay if you don't really use your abilities. Honestly, taking something like Movement Target might be your best option, just to give you a little bit more accuracy and the ADS strafe speed, which could be good. Then in the next column, taking something like Box Breathing with this playstyle would be really good. But if you don't want to, you know, do that, taking something like a Wellspring could also be really good, just to get some ability energy back. But for this playstyle, 100% Box Breathing is going to be your best option. This will actually make it a 3-tap kill. If you have Box Breathing proc and you hit all 3 headshots, you can kill them in 3 shots. And when moving target, it'll be even easier to hit that accuracy stability. You're gonna always be able to hit your shots because your gun's not moving. This would be a very cheesy way to play in Crucible, and I know a friend that would probably love to have this role due to the way he plays. But you know, again, you can kind of build this however you want to. Scout rifles aren't the greatest in PvP. This is more just a fun weapon for it. This is definitely more of a PvE weapon, as you already saw the PvE rolls you can get on it. And I would definitely, again, recommend farming for one of these, because if they do buff scout rifles, this thing is going to slap in PvE. But that is going to do it all for me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this and learned something from it. Let me know what you guys like to have on your hung jury, be it for PvE or PvP. I would love to know. And I hope this did help some of you guys out if you were trying to farm this week. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.